Have you ever seen something that just blows your mind and you think, wow, that's a miracle? We tend to think of them as these random, impossible events that break all the rules. But what if they aren't breaking the rules at all? What if they're actually following a deeper set of laws that we just can't see? All right, let's dive into this and unpack the real mechanics behind what we call miracles. So, this is the big question, right? When something impossible happens, is it just a mistake? A glitch in the matrix? Does it mean the laws of physics just took a coffee break? Well, the source material we're digging into today offers a pretty mind-bending answer. And here it is. The core idea is that miracles don't actually break the laws of nature. They just show us there's a higher law at play. It's kind of like if you're playing checkers and then suddenly someone starts moving pieces like in chess. The game isn't broken, it's just operating on a whole other level you didn't even know existed. Now, to get a handle on these deeper rules, we first have to understand the world we're living in. And our source describes it as, well, a kind of grand performance, a cosmic magic show. The first step is realizing we're all sitting in the audience watching this incredible illusion play out. This illusion actually has a name, Maya. It's this ancient concept that basically describes the fundamental law of our physical world. Maya is the force that creates duality, the thing that splits one single reality into a universe of opposites. It's the cosmic veil that makes everything seem separate and disconnected. And you see this principle of Maya everywhere. I mean, for every bit of pleasure, there's the potential for pain. For every good, there's an evil. Birth is always balanced by death. And every rise, well, it eventually leads to a fall. Our entire lives are spent swinging back and forth between these opposites. That's the rhythm of the world's magic show. What's so wild is that this isn't just some ancient spiritual idea. Science has its own version of this. Just think about Sir Isaac Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. See? It's the exact same principle of duality, just explained with the language of physics. But here's where science kind of hits a wall, according to our source. So while scientists are absolutely brilliant at describing the effects of these laws, the push and the pull, the cause and the effect, they can't perceive the force that actually set up all the rules in the first place. They can study the magic trick, but they can't see the magician. Okay, so if we're living inside this huge illusion of opposites, this cosmic magic show, how do we get backstage? How do we see past the trick to understand what's really going on? Because that is the key to understanding miracles. The way our text puts it, this is the whole point of being human. The goal isn't to pick a side, to just chase pleasure and run from pain, but to rise above that whole pendulum swing entirely. It's about transcending the duality of Maya and finally seeing the single, unified reality that's behind it all. So how do you do it? It's pretty much a two-step process. First, you have to realize that constantly chasing the good stuff and running from the bad stuff is a trap. It just leads to more suffering. And second, the way to break free isn't by studying more books or anything like that, but by going inward, by achieving a state of deep, silent meditation where that veil of Maya can finally be pulled back. And this is where things get really, really cool. Because when someone actually manages to pull back that veil, what they see changes absolutely everything. This is the secret ingredient, the foundational code behind every single miracle ever performed. Okay, so we've talked about the illusion. We've talked about the path to escape it. But what is the actual secret? What's the master key that unlocks the power to perform miracles? What is reality really made of when you get right down to it? The answer is so simple, it's almost shocking. It's light. The source explains that the very first creation was light, and that everything, and I mean everything in the entire cosmos, you, me, the stars, this planet, is just different forms of condensed light. So here's the takeaway. For a master who has seen past Maya, the world just looks completely different. They don't see solid ground and liquid water. They see that both are just patterns of light. And when their consciousness expands beyond their own body to merge with the whole universe, well, the rules that apply to a small, separate body, like gravity, they just don't really apply to them anymore. This is such a great way to picture it. Imagine the entire universe is a giant movie. We're all characters on the screen, totally convinced our world is real. But a master is someone who's realized they're not just a character, they're actually one with the light from the projector. They can even step into the projection booth and see how the whole movie is made. Now, I know this might all sound super abstract, maybe a little far-fetched from our daily lives, but the source makes a really powerful point.
You already have this ability. In fact, you perform a small-scale miracle every single night.
That's right, in your dreams. Just think about it. When you're dreaming, your mind instantly creates whole worlds, people, crazy situations, all just from thought. There are no limits. You can fly, you can breathe underwater, you can build a city in a second. You are the sole creator of that reality. So let's just compare the two for a second. In a dream, your mind creates a world out of pure thought. In what we call the real world, a master uses their will to do the exact same thing. They just rearrange the light atoms that make up our shared reality. The creative process? It's identical. The only thing that's different is the playground. So let's redefine what a miracle is. It isn't a violation of law. It's just a demonstration by someone who has fully woken up from our shared cosmic dream. They've woken up inside the dream and realized they can use their will to change the script, to adjust the light that's projecting the whole show. And that really leaves us with one final powerful thought. If our reality is more like a shared dream than we realize, and if that creative power we all use every single night is just a small taste of a much greater potential, it kind of raises a big question for all of us, doesn't it? What will you choose to create when you start to awaken?